All right. I don't know what is going on with my webcam today. Anyway, hey everyone, welcome back to the Ultimate Jax Guy. This is part 2, where we're going to be covering all of his special moves. All right, so I'm just going to jump right on into it. And remember, you can check in the description for a link to the written guide over at testyourmight.com. It's got all the transcriptions and all sorts of written info if you don't want to listen to me ramble hours on end. So first up, we've got Energy Wave, which is down back 2 or down back triangle. All right, this is a fairly slow starting projectile at a 22 frame startup. That's very slow for a projectile, but if you look at the block advantage, it's +7. All right, so and +10 on hit. So what that means is that this is a really good projectile to use in block strings, which is really weird. So you get stuff like that going, all right? So that leaves me +7, +7, and you can kind of keep everything going. The only downside is that because it has that crazy long startup, there are gaps. So like if you try to do, say, force charge. See, so if you get predictable with it, your opponent can armor through. Can't remember if there are any. I don't think he has any strings that'll lead into it without a gap. Let's see, yeah, I mean, for the most part, everything you do is into Energy Wave. Yeah, that can't be canceled. It's gonna end in a gap. All right, so just be aware of that, so don't get too predictable with it. But just know that it is a great projectile to use in block strings. All right, the other thing about it is its hitbox actually makes it very difficult to jump over. You can neutral crouch it since it is a high projectile, so you can just neutral crouch it and it'll whiff. But jumping over it can be very difficult, especially because Jax can delay it. So you can, use it immediately, you can delay it kind of, or you can, full on let it hang out there until your opponent jumps. All right. It only deals 7% damage, so it's really not a great damage source. It's mainly just used to kind of keep your opponent out and in block strings. Let's see, the other thing is that every time you anti-air with this, jump. All right, so if I bring it out, you get a free unblockable ground pound. That's the meter burn version, which will hit them on the ground. So between the 7% and the 13%, that's 20% damage for 1 bar, full screen. So it's not like the greatest damage in the game, but it is guaranteed. If you use Jax's meter like that, just only on guaranteed unblockables, that's basically a 39% unblockable full screen X-ray. So it's it's a solid use of meter, I would say. Next is Assault Wave. This one, let me see something here. Almost on. All right, so that is a hard knockdown, which you'll see if I uppercut, she rolls out of it. But if I hit with Assault Wave, which is the meter burn version of down back 2, she can't roll out. So it is a hard knockdown. And let's see, it's +26 on block. So it does let you get some pressure started, but really I feel like Jax's meter is best spent elsewhere. Because it's 2 hits, it can be used to get through things like Sub-Zero's Ice Clone, but it's -3 on block, so it loses its pressure abilities. You can't use it in pressure strings, and if you do hit with it in there, you get a knockdown, so you kind of lose your pressure there too. So I don't know, I think it's okay for clearing out, like just ending a round. If you can end a match with it, go for it. If I've got 3 bars full screen, it's very difficult to jump over. You can just kind of nail your opponent with it. The second hit is mid, so whatever. But otherwise, I think your meter is best spent elsewhere. Okay, next is your dash punch. This is a great punisher. It's only 10 frame startup, but you'll notice it is high, which means it loses out to low pokes. It'll lose out to like Melina's ball roll. Any kind of low profile attack will beat it, and it can be neutral crouch and full combo punished. Luckily on block, it's only -7, and if they're blocking, even crouching, it'll still be blocked. So they have to neutral crouch it or poke. They can't crouch block it, which is great because a lot of people are going to be so afraid of that move, which we'll cover in a second, that a lot of people aren't neutral crouching within this range of Jax anyway, just because he's got so many good things he can do. So it's a great move to just throw out there, especially after block strings. Like if you need to be safe, if you're fighting Melina and you're afraid to do gotcha grab because she can punish it with her roll, and start ending in, you know, dash punch, and that way you're only -7, she can't punish it. And even though it is -7, because of that pushback there, you're really kind of outside of the range of most pokes. Like some down 4s will catch you, but they're not 7 frames. I don't know of any 7 frame down 4. Maybe Sub-Zero, or actually never mind, I can think of a few. Kano. But yeah, almost entirely safe, especially against combo punishes. Now, the other good thing about it is that you are +26 on hit. So every time you hit with that, you have enough time to run up to your opponent and continue pressure. All right, you can't really get a truly unblockable ground pound, but if they try to do a delayed wake up, that'll hit. But overall, you're better off going for mix up pressure, especially if they try to wake up. You can hit with if I can do it. Out of meter now. All right, his back 3 Peter Burn got you. All right, so let's see. Next is Dash Fist, which is the meter burn version. This is identical except it has armor. So literally just use this to armor through attacks. If you know someone's trying to zone you out, you can zone through it. Actually has really good range. All of his dash punch moves do. You know, that's like a third of the screen. He can get in there. Let me reset my controller. So yeah, the whiff recovery too, I should cover that for both versions of the dash punch, is not great. So it's not like Sub-Zero's slide or most of the slides in this game, or Sonya's dive kick, where they can whiff it as a movement option to just get in and kind of immediately recover and jump over you. Jax can't do that. If you whiff a dash punch, you're probably gonna get punished. Okay. Next is downward dash punch, and this one's a little wonky. It's back forward 2, and then you have to press down. I don't know why they made it like that, but they did. So it's really easy to mess up, especially going in from strings. Different strings had different timings for when you press the down input. But basically this is a 10 frame overhead that you really can't combo off of mid screen. In the corner is how you get all of your biggest damage combos, which we'll cover in the combo section. Mid screen, you don't really get anything off of it except your 10% damage and your 39 hit advantage. All right, so what that means is that every time you hit with this, you can run in and get your pressure started, or you get a free off the ground OTG ground pound. All right, there's no way she can avoid that. What you do is see how she bounces. So she bounces off the ground, goes up, and then goes down. When she's in the peak of her bounce is when you want to start the input. And so you should actually, the move should come out when she's doing her little double bounce, bam, bam, on the floor there. All right, so ground pound, can't avoid it. Nothing she can do. Okay, now it is -17 on block, which means if your opponent reads it, you're gonna get blown up, full combo punish. So really mid screen, I don't recommend throwing it out, just because, you know, if you have meter, you can get that. I mean, that's 23% damage. If it's blocked, you're gonna eat way more than that from a full combo punish. You know, Kung Jin will hit you 37% mid screen. So, you know, be careful with it. He has better overhead options mid screen that kind of do the same thing. You know, I don't know. In the corner, it's great. Mid screen, you know, keep your opponent in check, but be careful. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, in the corner, we'll cover all his corner combos with it, but that's where everything comes from. Now the timing for canceling into it is a little weird. What you have to do is make the back forward 2 part of your block strings. Like I do forward 2 1, back forward 2, and then just before the back forward 2 comes out, you press down. So the down is super delayed. So it's like forward 2 1, back forward 2, and then I press down at the very last second. Hard to do while I'm talking. There we go. So if you watch my inputs, you can kind of see the timing. Oh. There we go. So you just have to delay it. And some moves you don't. Like if you do 1, 2, back forward, 2 down. Oh my god, why is this not? There we go. Some moves you don't, and some moves you do. So you just need to go into practice mode and work on the timing. I'd say going from the back 2 is probably the wonkiest. Back 3, if you want to cancel directly into it, you have to do it almost immediately. And what happens is if you press the down too early, then just nothing comes out. If you do it too late, like you saw me do several times a second ago, you'll get a normal dash punch. So, you know, that's how you can kind of tell what you're doing wrong and just work on it. Okay, next is downward dash fist. This is the meter burn version. It is almost identical. All right, this one does have a hit of armor, but it also has more hit advantage to the point where you can actually combo off of it mid-screen. Let's see. I can do it. There we go. And this is where most of your big mid-screen punishes are going to come from. This is actually the reason I practice on Jackie and other female characters, is because their hitboxes make them more difficult than the male characters. It's something I really hope they patch out because it's annoying. This combo. Oh my god. Alright. Well, anyway. So yeah, if I do a normal one, there's no way you can follow it up. But if you do that one, then you can at least dash cancel and you usually go into a combo if you don't suck. For some reason, every time I record one of these videos, I just completely lose the ability to do combos. Like Tyler Lansdowne. Alright. Let's see. The only other thing too is that the distance that your opponent gets launched is based on the hit string that you lead into it from. So like if I do forward 2, 1, she's launched really far, but if I do 1, 2, she's not. And so you can follow it up with the combo much easier. And I'll cover that in the combo section and the general strategy section, but just know that this pretty much doesn't work on female characters. I mean, it does, but it might as well not. And, it's very tight, but then this one is not. There we go. 38% mid-screen, 1 meter, that's not too bad. More than Jackie can do. Alright, next is Major Pain. Now this move is, I don't know, it's one of the reasons I picked up Jax, because initially it looked like it was safe, good armor move, whatever. Well, the regular version is not armored, alright? It's a mid, see this is where it's weird. It's a mid-hitting attack, but because of that upward trajectory, it'll actually whiff very often. And if it whiffs, you're gonna get full combo punished, alright? The actual version is just -8 on block, so it's unsafe against some stuff. And it loses out as an anti-air, like against a lot of stuff. Jump kicks and other things, air specials can beat it out. So really, I don't like this move. If you do ever anti-air with it, then you get a free ground pound. That's 23% 1 meter for a move that will most likely whiff if your opponent is doing anything other than stand blocking. So I don't know. Mess with it, see if you like it. I'm not a huge fan. Next is the meter burn version. This one should be really good because it has a hit of armor. So like if you're in the corner and your opponent is trying to do stuff, it'll get you out of the corner. The only problem is that it whiffs just as often as the other version. And it's -14 on block. So if they block it, you're gonna get, usually, depending on the character, full combo punished. It does leave you +48, which is enough for that. That's 30% damage for 2 bars. That's really not that great. The other thing is that even if the first hit hits or is blocked, a lot of times that second hit will still whiff and get you punished. So I don't know. It can be used sparingly to kind of, you know, keep opponents out of the air or whatever, but it's so inconsistent and doesn't really get you anything that I don't know. I don't recommend it. Alright, next is Super Gotcha, which is specific to the pumped up variation. Alright, it actually has pretty good range. That was is not the maximum number of hits. All right, but so from here it'll whiff. From here, I thought that would hit. Here we go. So from about there we go. All right, so you can do 16% damage with it. If you look at my input log in the left-hand corner, hold on, let me reset my controller. All right, if you look at my input log, you can see me mashing. All right, so on pad, the way I mash is that I play on a hitbox controller. Let's see if I can do this backwards. So I put 2 fingers there, and then my other finger I put there. So this hand is on these 2, and then my other hand, my index finger is there, and I just kind of mash them out. And it, let's see, yep. Just almost like playing 3 notes on a piano. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, doing like rolls, you know? And that usually gets all the hits to come out. You can try to time it. I have not had luck with that. Maybe I just suck. But I prefer to just mash them, and 99% of the time it comes out. And of course, the first time I do it on stream, it doesn't. But that's just how it works. Let's see. It is a high, so it'll whiff on crouching characters and low pokes. If it does hit, it leaves your opponent standing and leaves you at +3. All right, which really mid-screen isn't enough to capitalize on. But in the corner, unless they armor out, you can get a down 1. Even if she tries to jump out, let's let her jump back. All right, I'm gonna try to down 1. So you can't jump out of it. Kind of have to respect it. And it can be armored out, so do be careful. That's why one thing I like to do after it hits in the corners, instead of down 1, I'll do a neutral jump, and that way a lot of attacks will whiff, especially like if they try to counter poke, since they know you can do that quick little thing. Even like armored moves like Kung Jin, a lot of his armored stuff will actually whiff and get hit, allowing you to punish him for, what is that, 33, 31? Okay. The other good thing is because it leaves them standing at +3, that eliminates their wake up options. So which basically allows you to just continue your pressure for free, kind of. You still have to watch out for, I don't know, just because it doesn't leave you with enough advantage, it kind of defeats the purpose of leaving them standing, I think. All right. Next is the Extreme Gotcha, or Gotcha Extreme. This is just the meter burn version. Does have a hit of armor. Deals 22% damage, which is great for just a single move. So like if you end combos with that, it can really mess people up. It also starts out 4 frames faster, which means that like if I do back 3-4 into Gotcha, it'll whiff mid-screen, but if I do back 3-4 into special Gotcha, it'll hit. It's also just so satisfying. Like if you're fighting Kung Jin and they've been mixing you up all day and you grab them with that and you just get to beat the snot out of them. So it's a very gratifying move. That's really all there is to it. It's just, I don't even think it leaves you with more hit advantage. Those ignore, like as far as I know, those don't make any difference. That frame data is definitely not correct. Since these can't be blocked, the hit advantage is not -201. I don't even know what the point of all of that is. For the Gotcha Extreme, yeah, you're still at +3 advantage. So yeah, it doesn't really change anything else. It just starts up faster and you get more damage out of it, and it has armor. All right, next is Ground Tremor, which then again, this is unique to the pumped up version. It's just his ground pound, but now it is full screen. And even though it kind of looks like it travels along the screen, it doesn't. It's, as soon as he hits, it's good to go. It's unblockable. If they're touching the ground in a non-wake up state, they'll be hit for 10% damage. And basically what that means is like if I knock her down and try to do it, it doesn't do anything because she's in a state where she can't do anything. So it's kind of a way to keep it fair. Let's see. It's just 10% damage. It's a great way to mix up your opponent. Especially, you know, be careful doing it from around jump range or dash jump range because the recovery on it is pretty crazy. Like if they jump it, you're probably gonna get full combo punish from around this range. Let's see. Next up is his ground tremor. All right. So this one is again unique to pumped up jacks. It's still full screen. It does 3% more damage, but now it can hit them while they're in that wake up state, which is how you get like that, where there's no way they can block it. And because it's not part of the combo, it doesn't scale. So it's always going to be 13% damage when you hit with it, which is really good. And that's really the only huge difference. I don't think the startup is hugely different. 30, yeah, it's 36, 36. The only other benefit to this is it's plus 16 on hit. But from full screen, you really can't capitalize on that. You basically get a free energy wave. That's about it. It's mostly used for OTG setups. Like you don't want to be naked throwing this out because it's so easy to react to. Or fairly easy to react to, I should say. But if you're just like, if they're not knocked down, you're better off just doing the normal version for 10% and saving your meter for the OTG unblockable setups. All right. And let's see, because there's literally nothing they can do against that if you do it correctly, then by saving your meter for those, just 3 bars of meter is basically an unblockable full screen 39% X-ray. Which is just absolutely insane. So that's why that 13% damage is really good. Even though it's not flashy, it's not a 37% mid-screen meterless Kung Jin combo. It is, it's just a quick 13% damage, but you hit someone with that 3 times and you've done more damage than an X-ray. Completely unblockable, like guaranteed to hit, nothing they can do against it for the same amount of meter. So it's pretty great. Next is Air Drill Slam. All right, now this one is mostly used for his full screen mix-ups, but basically every time you jump, you can press down, down 4, and get a mix-up. You can do it on the way up, you can do it on the way down. If you do it too late, you'll do that. But you can do it very low to the ground, making it more difficult. But you see how his hand kind of glows purple? Your opponent can look out for that if you get too predictable with it. But, I mean, pretty much from full screen, they're not going to be punishing it. So it's great. It's a great mix-up tool combined with his energy wave, that, and that. It can be very difficult to keep up with jacks, with pumped up jacks from full screen. All right. Next is his Air Drill Punch, which is the meter burn version. I think this is one of the worst moves in the game. It doesn't have armor. It does the same amount of damage at 6%. At 6%, the only difference is that it OTGs, which, like if I kick and cancel into that, then it won't hit. If I kick and cancel into that, then it will. So what is that? 7 and 6 is 12% damage for 1 meter. And you might think, well, that's a pretty decent mix up at least, but no, if I set her to block, you can't cancel into an unblockable in this game. All right. So it just won't come out. So it's not a mix-up. It's 6% 1 bar off like a jump kick. So I don't know. I think it's totally useless. You don't get armor off of it. You don't get any special advantage as far as I can tell. So just, it's a total waste of meter. Finally is Jax's X-Ray. Now, I know X-Rays are kind of scrubby, but I love Jax's. And again, he gets more damage off of his OTG setups, but his X-Ray is... It's 20 frames, but it feels a lot faster. It has multiple hits of armor, just like every X-Ray. It deals decent damage. I think it's 32%. Yeah, 32% damage. But the really important thing is that it has crazy range. Her over here. All right, I think it'll actually hit from there. Okay, look at that. It'd go a little bit further too. That he just has to nick you, and it's gonna connect. And you'll do your 32% damage. It's an overhead, so they have to block it standing, which means you can really combo into it pretty easily, or get them to block low and do it. The other great thing is that since it's multiple hits of armor and reverses positions, it's amazing for getting out of the corner. Like if you're fighting Sub-Zero and they're doing the ice clone setups where the clone counts as 1 hit and their next attack counts as the second, so it breaks armor, you can do this. It'll break through all of their stuff and then put Sub-Zero in the corner. All right, so Jax's X-ray is a great just defensive X-ray, believe it or not. It can be jumped, like it'll sometimes anti-air, but it's kind of consistent, so do be careful. The other thing, it's +4 on block, so even if they do block it, you basically get a free 1-1, or down 1, whatever you want. I recommend 1-1 to continue your pressure. It's kind of a, don't use it just to get in on a block string. The other thing is, if you're ever juggling your opponent, you can almost always cancel into it from a 1-1. So like if I, let's see if I can do this. Oh my god. Let's do this. What is going on? Oh wait, no, that's not what I want to do. Come on. There we go. So pretty much anytime you juggle with the 1-1, you can do 1-1 X-ray and it will combo. For some really easy, that was 45% damage. They can't break it, so if your opponent has breaker and you just want to finish him off, that's a great way to just end a match. So there you have it. Those are all of Jax's pumped up special moves, combined with his awesome strings and pressure. They really let him do a lot of cool stuff. So hope you enjoyed. I'll be coming out with the next edition, which is the Jax pumped up combo video here in just a few minutes. Thanks a lot.